missing crime allowances. Finesse a nigga with some counterfeits, but now I'm counting this. Parmesan where my accountant lives, in fact I'm down in this. Do say with my boo babe, tastes like Kool-Aid for the analyst. Girl, I can buy your Westy world with my pay stuff. Ooh, that good once you sit it on my taste buds. I get way too daddy once you let me do the extras.
Okay, so now I have the last of the push rods in. I went and adjusted all 16 valves. So now before I go ahead and put the rocker arms down for good, I want to see it oil. Because these are aftermarket rocker arm shafts and I want to see it oil. So, first things first. Put the oil pressure sending unit in. So, film down here and I'll show you the process. It's really not that hard. The oil pan's bolted on, everything's fine. The only thing that's open as far as oil goes is the rocker arm covers are missing, obviously. We want to see the oil come out. The distributor hole, which I have taped up, I'm going to have to peel the tape in a minute. And then your oil filter and your oil pressure sending unit. I already put Teflon on the threads. So now we're just going to go ahead and thread this into the housing. And tighten it down. Alright, now this is where car guys start to argue. Okay? Listen, I'm a custom shop. I work on them all. Fords, Chevys, Dodges, imports, hell. Let's be honest, they put Ford engines in Mazdas, they put Mitsubishi engines in Dodge cars, okay? And I've worked on all of them. So let's not get into it, because when you get you guys that Ford guy don't like Chevy, but to be honest, the Ford guy doesn't know a thing about that Chevy, and the Chevy guy don't know a thing about the Ford. So we're not going to argue which brand of filter is better. I like the Fram. You know why? Because I'm lazy and I like the Rhino line bottom. That's that. You think Wix makes a better filter? Good, tell me about it. I ain't going to hear it. Contact plus a quarter. So now what we need to do is open up our distributor hole. Now I need some oil and a funnel. So down in here is your oil pump shaft driven by your distributor. We don't have a distributor here. Well, we do, it's just not installed. So we're going to drive the oil pump with a battery drill. But first we got to put oil in the engine, or that's going to be a colossal waste of time. So here's what you need to know. When you're priming these, we are running a 390. So this works for 352, 360, 390, 406, 427, and 428. That is your direction of firing order. We don't need to know the firing order, you just need to know which direction to spin that oil pump, which is distributor rotates counterclockwise. That's what you need to know for this. So I'm going to insert a tool down in here and spin it with a drill. But first, we put oil. In an engine that burns a lot of oil, put whatever garbage you can put in there. Heck, if you can get it to flow, put bunker oil in it. Brand new engine, I'll run something decent. Again, not going to argue with you with the brand of oils. Just put something brand name, something actually somebody spent some money at making into a brand new engine. Hell of a time to remember if I put the drain plug in. No, I did. Okay, so now I have the special tool for priming engines. So we'll install it in. You can feel it's engaged into the oil pump. Here we go. See the oil pumped right out right there? Okay, so now I know that works. I can watch the oil come up out of the valves individually, out of each shaft, and watch it drip down off to the side, making a little mess, but that can clean up easy. So next step is we're going to put the valve covers on it, torque them down, and then I'm going to go to town on that drill and really get some oil up into this engine. Then I'll be able to turn it over, make sure everything's oiling right before we start trying to fire it over. If all works well, tomorrow we should have it actually running. Okay, so I already installed the carrier bearing on the drive shaft, and now we're just getting the drive shaft in. I now remember the saying, the Chris Brewer saying, drive a Ford, drive the best. Drive a mile, walk with Chris. There's a story with that. It'll answer why my drive shafts are usually painted red. A friend of mine from back in the day used to own a shop, I don't know if it's still in business or not, called Sideline Automotive. And when he was a kid, he had a bunch of high-powered Ford 4x4 trucks, and he would run them hard. And the local kids made the saying, drive a Ford, drive the best. Drive a mile, walk with Chris. He used to paint his drive shaft red as a joke. When you break them and sling them off into the woods, they're easier to find in the dark if they're painted red. And since we make a lot of power around here, the idea is to paint the shafts red, just as a joke. But nonetheless, a little tribute to Sideline Automotive. Next shaft. Now what's important is the timing. Look at the yoke on the drive shaft here. I have it so it's vertical, up and down. That's important because when I slide this yoke in, the yoke has to match the drive shaft. This drive shaft has to be in opposition of the forward drive shaft. And now we line up our universal joint here into this hub or yoke. These are all new universal joints. I didn't film replacing any. I found it very odd that this truck has a two-piece drive shaft. I have a 79 Ford F-100. Basically the same truck, except mine came with a 302 engine in it. And it has a one-piece drive shaft. This one has the short front shaft and then the longer second and the carrier bearing like you just saw earlier. I wonder why this truck has the two-piece and mine has the one. My son did bring up the fact that this truck is what they called in its day trailer special. I wonder if that's not why. Mine was just a Lariat or Lariat package, however you pronounce that word that Ford calls their trucks in those days. This one's trailer special, not camper special. There was a difference. I learned that quick when we were looking for headers. Camper special was the truck that was made to have the Lance camper in the load bed. so they came with a front anti-sway bar to help with body roll. Trailer special just meant that it was built with the wiring harness and a hitch to tow a trailer, be it a fifth wheel or a tow behind, bumper hitch or class 3 hitch. And there we are. There's your nice rebuilt painted red drive shaft. Okay, so now another thing that might separate this from a regular truck, being that this one is a trailer special, is a power steering pump cooler line. That's what this little nifty thing is. It goes right up to the return from the steering gearbox through these cooler coils, and then that nipple right there, right by the oil filter, that goes to return line to the power steering pump. We just installed that. Okay, so here we have most of the accessories bolted on. There's your alternator, your water pump, your power steering pump. That's an idler pulley right here. Air conditioning compressor. And notice everything is now stainless steel bolts. Every last one of them. So now we're going to put the condenser back in and the radiator, and then we can put the fan shroud in it, and then we can start working on the fuel injection. By the way, it's about 11:15 at night. This truck has a date with the exhaust shop tomorrow. If we don't make it tonight, we will tow it. Well, it'll be towed anyway, but if it doesn't fire tonight, we'll still tow it out there and we'll just have to tow it back. But I would like to hear it run, especially with the wide open headers. But here's our progress. Okay, so now the condenser, the dryer, as you see, the radiator is in. And this is where we're going to stop for the night. It's getting quite late, and I don't have everything I need to make new power. I don't have everything I need to make new transmission cooler lines to come from the transmission to the radiator. With the headers, the original ones don't quite work, and I really don't want to, just jerry rig it just to hear it run tonight. So we'll load it on a trailer, tow it to the exhaust shop, we'll tow it back, and then we'll hear it run once we finish it up after we do the exhaust. So, good night for today. Okay, I don't know how well you see, but right now we have the truck loaded on the trailer. Or take it to the muffler shop in the morning, have the dual exhaust put on. It is literally like 2:30 in the morning. It might be cool, but that will wake somebody up if we tried to drive it. Alright, so the Ford's on the lift, and now we have an exhaust system to actually talk about. This here is the location for the oxygen sensor. Once we get the fuel injection in, there has to be an O2 sensor, so that's where that'll be mounted. The problem with this system is, you see, you got the forward fuel tank right in the way. So we crossed over just behind the transmission to your X pipe, and then clamps. This way you could drop the pipes off the headers, drop them out of these clamps to get the transmission out. Go ahead and give it a shot. Again? Try again. Don't try to give it so much fuel. Stand by. Okay, try now. Ready? Yep. Try now. Again? Yep. Okay, right now what I'm currently doing, while I'm having the rear wheels spinning, Sean is in the truck. He's ready to hit the brake should she come off the stance, but it ain't gonna. What I'm doing by running it with the wheels off the ground and just spinning like that is to get a little bit of wear pattern into the differential. The directions from Moser says to run it like that for like 3-5 minutes or so. I'll probably give it about 10. And then we're gonna put it in reverse and do it again for about another 10 minutes. Plus also I ran through the gears in the transmission to get the fluid levels proper. Right now she's running. It gave us a little bit of trouble running, setting curve timing. It's a little learning curve when it comes to this FiTech EFI. But as you can hear, it's running great. She got oil pressure up. She's got oil pressure up the wazoo. Temperature came right up just beautifully. No leaks, no problems at all. I figured you'd want to see it. I'm filming, but not filming you. Give it a little rev. Good. I'm gonna go behind there, do that again. All right, give me a little rev again. try my best to video as we work, but unfortunately, we do have a deadline. I've got to get my son to an airport because, well, he's visiting and he doesn't live here. So I filmed as best as we could. I got the initial startup on video for you guys. It's dark out. It's like literally midnight right now. We did drive it literally just around the building a couple times. We went a mile down the street, turned around, and came back. As you can see, I just have it I just have everything temporarily wired just to make sure it ran. But it came up, idle's good, everything's working just fine. You guys seen the video, we spun the rear a little bit, got it moving, got the transmission shifting, everything's working just fine. I'll try to film more as far as when I start making wiring harnesses to make this disaster look pretty. I've got to run the vent line for the fuel command center down into the fuel tanks rather than in a brake fluid dispenser. Thank you for watching. I am Steve Feszchak. This is Feszchak Speed and Custom Shop.